Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of our brand new podcast. This is World's Wildest. My name is Maya Higa. I am the founder and executive director of Alveus Sanctuary, which is an animal sanctuary and conservation education center in Austin, Texas. And this is my co-host.
I'm Connor O'Brien. I am the director of operations at Alveus Sanctuary and a biologist.
Welcome to World's Wildest. Hello, everybody.
We're starting.
We're starting. This is very
No,
exciting.
restart.
Oh my God,
Restart. What?
We're new to this. We're brand new to this. This podcast has been in the works for about 6 months or so. Connor and I have been friends since 2019. We both love nature. We both love animals. I've got some parrot experience, some zookeeping experience, some bird of prey experience.
I've got some large megafauna experience up in Alaska, some bird of prey experience, and now operations experience at Alveus.
And our dream for the podcast is to teach you guys about cool animals, in particular, Earth's most extreme creatures.
There's some crazy stuff out there.
There is some crazy stuff out there that we're very excited to share with you. And this first episode is on World's Wildest. We really just looked up the craziest stuff that we could find to share with you. But every other episode is going to be like world's smallest,
World's biggest.
world's smelliest,
World's craziest.
world's
Deepest.
ugliest would be really mean. We're not going to do that.
Yeah. They're all
Deepest down in the ocean. Let us know if you have suggestions on what you want to see, on what extremes you'd like to see. But today we're going to start with the wildest ones. Am I missing anything else for the intro? Do we need to tell them about ourselves anymore?
I don't think so. You're pretty famous.
You guys will find out more about us throughout the podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Very exciting. Hopefully you get to learn some stuff and you get to love nature a little more. And you have a good time doing it.
And if you want some more content, we're on Patreon.
We are on Patreon. It's actually, our content's way better over there. So you can go check it out over there if you'd like. But we're on YouTube today. This is our very first episode. And we've brought some crazy creatures to share with you today in our brand new set. By the way,
We're in a treehouse. Real
what
tree.
do you think? Audio listeners, you're not seeing it, but you would not believe your eyes. This is crazy. I made this tree that's so real and is missing just a little bit of paint.
Cut it down herself.
And I thrifted all of these items. Beautiful. Where it's our little treehouse set. Very fun. Very cozy.
It's nice. You did a good job.
Thank you. Should we get into it?
Would love to.
Okay. All right. I'm going to start because I'm very excited to share this one. Ever since I started doing the research, I've told probably 5 or 6 people in my life just about this animal because I think it's so interesting.
I don't even have a clue what's coming up next.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What happens at the end of our lives?
We die.
Yeah. What happens at the end of every animal's life?
They become compost and food for other animals. They die too.
They die too.
Okay.
But not the immortal jellyfish.
Actually immortal?
Immortal jellyfish, Turritopsis nutricula.
You're saying that 100% right.
Thank you. I actually think that I am. Do you think I'm not?
Sorry, no, continue.
Turritopsis nutricula.
Oh, that sounded good.
That's how I said it the first time.
You didn't have the confidence behind it the first time. You're good though. You're good.
Okay. So, is it actually immortal? Yes. No. Because, okay, when you think of immortal, right, you think of I don't know anything about superheroes, but when...
If they can't get injured.
They can't get injured and they can't
Or if they
die.
do, they regenerate. Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
this is a little bit different. You can kill it.
Sure.
So that makes it not immortal.
But if you don't injure it, it's immortal?
Does
it get cancer?
All right, let's go back a little. Let's go back a little bit. This is a species of jellyfish. It's actually not a jellyfish, which is confusing. Oh. It's a hydrozoan. It's a very small jellyfish lookalike. We're gonna call it a jellyfish for the sake of this conversation.
Looks very edible.
Guess how big it is?
You just put up your pinky, so I guess a pinky size?
Ah, spoiled. It's the size of your pinky fingernail.
That's so small.
4 to 5 millimeters. Tiny little guy. And we're looking at a picture right now. If you're listening on audio platforms, it's like a little It's like a little plastic thimble with a little red bit inside, and it's got like 90 white tentacles. It's really pretty.
Slightly over the size of a grain of rice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tiny little guys.
How did they even find them?
I don't know. I wasn't there. But they were discovered in the Mediterranean Sea in the 1880s. And then in the late 1990s, their immortalness was discovered.
Can we use them to figure out how to make ourselves immortal?
Potentially, but it's also very human and gross that that's the first thing that you thought of.
I'm just asking the real questions.
How dare you harness them for something that's theirs?
We can learn a lot, like just like with peregrine falcons for their wings, for our fighter jets.
You're right. Okay, so I need to talk about the life cycle of a jellyfish for this to make sense.
Okay.
So
but they're not a jellyfish, but they are.
We're calling them a jellyfish.
Okay.
The jellyfish that you're used to seeing in the ocean, right? Yes. Picture a jellyfish.
Yep.
Everybody picture a jellyfish. That's called a medusa. The form is called a medusa. It's like the adult form of a jellyfish.
Okay.
The life cycle of a jellyfish is medusa have eggs. The eggs get fertilized in the ocean. So they start as a fertilized egg.
They're free floating?
Free floating. Fertilized egg.
Okay.
And then they become a planula.
Okay.
Planula.
Sure.
Okay. Which is like a little blobby blob that floats through the ocean.
Oh, okay.
Great. And then they latch on to the seafloor or to something.
Sure.
And they become a secured planula.
Okay.
Great. And then, this is where it gets interesting, then they become a polyp.
Oh.
And a polyp is like a tube with some mouth parts.
Sure.
For collecting things, for eating. We have a picture of a polyp up on screen right now. Audio listeners, it looks like a tube with little tentacles. The crazy thing about this picture is a polyp goes into being a jelly stack, which is all of these. See how they're kind of separated out? They're like little discs stacked on top of each other. Each one of those becomes an ephira, which is a jellyfish.
So those are individual. So there's multiple jellyfish in that polyp.
Yeah, like up to a dozen.
That's cool.
Every polyp makes like 10 to 12 jellyfish. Oh. And they spawn out, like they're stacked like poker chips. And then they spawn out to being jellyfish, medusa.
Okay. That's cool.
That's the life cycle of a jellyfish.
Okay.
Right? So the immortal jellyfish, there were two students that collected a bunch of specimens in the 1980s. Okay. They went out, they collected them, they put them in a little tank. They thought they were different species of jellyfish.
Okay.
They put them in a little tank. They were like, we'll breed these for research. Easy peasy. Then the students forgot about them.
Oh, fun.
Sad.
Okay.
But then when they went back to the tank to check them out, there were a bunch of babies in there and less adults.
Okay.
Than they put in there in the first place.
So they died. The adults died.
But there were no bodies.
Are you about to tell me they're about to go through the cycle of becoming polyps and back through? Because if so, that is crazy. And like, if we do that to humans, I don't want to go back to being a baby.
It leads you to some questions, right? Okay. One, when they put them in that tank, they were not of reproductive age. So did they breed that quickly? Did they mature that quickly and then have a bunch of babies? Did the babies eat the adults?
Yeah. Okay.
Did they miscount when they put them in the tank?
Likely, sure.
And they didn't have as many adults as they thought, and now there are only a couple adults in there.
Okay.
Okay? No. They reverted back to being polyps. The adult medusa form of the jellyfish reverted into polyps.
That is wild. I don't know of any other species that would do that.
I don't either. I'm not sure if there is any other species that would do that.
It just doesn't seem energy efficient, but I guess if you can do that forever and live forever, then why not? Okay.
When adult immortal jellyfish experience starvation, stress, injury, whatever, they kind of like shrink and like absorb their tentacles back into their body and they become a blob.
Okay.
And the blob is like a cyst that sinks down onto the ocean floor.
Okay.
Okay. And there's a large amount of enzymes in that cyst that protect DNA from damage and aging. It's not responsive to any external stimuli. So all of its energy inside that cyst is like protect DNA, protect. That's its only
You need to
job.
harvest that.
Okay. And then the cyst becomes a polyp. And then the
Okay.
polyp spawns off 10 to 12 genetically identical
Holy
immortal
crap.
jellyfish.
So one can then become 12.
Easily. In a lab setting, in the 1990s, one regenerated 10 times in 1 month.
That's so fast.
So like 100 new genetically identical clones of a single immortal jellyfish in 1 month in a lab. And all they had to do, this is mean, this is really mean, all they had to do was pinch it with tweezers.
Oh. They kill it.
No,
No.
it doesn't kill it. It got damaged.
That forces it to
It
the
got
damage.
stressed.
Oh.
And then it was like, oh no, my health is so low right now. Let me just suck up my tentacles and become a blob and then make 10 more of myself just in case.
Never mind. I don't want humans to harvest those enzymes. We don't need to go down that rabbit hole.
Isn't that crazy?
That's bizarre.
So it's not even just immortal. It's more than that. It's
Yeah.
like it can spawn hundreds of itself.
That is wild and genetically identical, and to be able to do that and find that out too, that's crazy.
Yep. When they published this paper, everyone was like, "You guys are so stupid."
Right.
They were like, "There's no way. You miscounted. You're dumb.
Right.
Bad science." Now there's only one guy studying them. His name is Mr. Immortal Jellyfish Man.
Oh, okay.
He's a Japanese scientist. He's the only guy in the world that has
Love that.
captive populations of these jellyfish to study. And he loves the jellyfish very much. He feeds them brine shrimp eggs,
Okay.
cut
fun.
in half.
Oh, okay.
He has to cut them in half because
That's
they're so
hard.
small.
Right.
And they need them to be small. He loves them, and he also loves karaoke.
Oh.
Audio listeners, we're looking at a picture of Mr. Immortal Jellyfish Man. He's got a jellyfish hat, red glasses, red gloves, and a karaoke microphone.
That's awesome.
And he just loves those jellyfish. And he's studying them.
That's crazy cool. So the immortal jellyfish, do they live kind of like on the surface, or
I don't know how far down they live.
Okay.
But I know that they're pretty widespread right now.
Right.
Like it's probably because they're immortal and they can spawn.
Yeah.
Like, why am
Can
I
go
blanking
anywhere.
on the word? What's endlessly?
Infinitely? Yeah.
They can infinitely spawn.
Right.
So they're like attached to boats and stuff. Now they're all over the ocean.
Oh.
Yeah.
And they're not like invasive and like harmful or anything, right?
I'm not really,
if
I mean,
just
they're
eating
so
brine
small.
shrimp-
They're just eating like plankton. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're
okay.
really little itty bitty. But it's the equivalent, listeners, of somebody slaps you in the face and then you get really mad and you have a tantrum and then you like throw yourself on the floor. And then while you're having a tantrum throwing yourself on the floor, you become a baby. And then all of a sudden there's a bunch of copy paste babies
10 or 12
of
of
yourself,
you.
10 or 12 of you. And then the floor is just flooded with a bunch of babies that then grow up to be all you. And then each one of you can do that infinitely.
I'm glad we don't do that.
Isn't that insane?
That is so cool, though.
I think it's so cool. Yeah.
I love that.
That's my first story. The
Okay.
immortal jellyfish. It's called cellular transdifferentiation.
That's a fun word.
Yeah. Making cells into different cells.
That's a lot of fun.
Pretty
It'd be
cool.
cool to study their DNA.
Yeah. We haven't learned how to live forever yet
I don't know if we need to.
from them, but maybe someday.
We'll just upload our consciousness into a computer. That's fine. We're getting there.
I don't want to.
Yeah. Same.
All right, that's my first world's wildest. Oh my gosh, so exciting.
That's cool.
That's my first world wildest story for y'all.
Immortal jellyfish. I love that.
The immortal jellyfish.
Nice. Well, I've got a very bizarre one. It's actually the craziest bird I've ever heard of. I bet you've never heard of it. It's called a Hoatzin. Do you know this?
the bird that's a ruminant?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so excited. Okay.
It's literally okay. Well, there's some other things to it. If it's like it's a prehistoric dinosaur, a cow, and a bird combined into one.
Yeah.
So it is only so it's found in North and Central America.
Wait, I have to tell you, I went to Brazil. I went to the
Yeah.
Amazon rainforest to do some projects and filming and stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the National Institute of Amazonian Research and I saw one of these in their collection.
Like alive?
Yeah, stuffed
Oh, stuff.
in their collection.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That's
I
cool.
saw its little. We'll
Yeah,
get there.
yeah.
I saw its little
Spoilers.
fingies. Spoilers. Oh my gosh. I didn't know. Okay. The one I saw was not that colorful. Is that a male?
I'm not sure.
We're looking at a picture right now, and it kind of looks like a pheasant with a crazy mohawk, and it has yellow and red and brown, and it's a beautiful bird.
It's crazy cool. They kind of look like guinea hens, if you're
It
familiar with
also
those.
just looks like a dinosaur.
Yeah. So what's really cool is that scientists have no clue how to classify them. No clue. They're the only species in its order, and
Yeah.
all the rest of the species are extinct.
That's so cool.
So I have no clue how to say this order. I'm going to have you try to say that.
Episthocomiforms.
Yep. We're going to go with that. Episthocomiforms order. So, yeah, so they don't really know how to classify them because they're so distinct, their DNA is so distinct, and they suspect these birds have been unchanged for millions of years.
Okay.
And they're still surviving. So, just to give you a little background on them, they weigh between 700 and 900 grams. They live between 15 and 30 years. And
So they're like small. They're like a normal sized hawk, for reference for you guys.
Yeah, that's a good way to put
Sized.
it. And they live in forests and wetlands in the rainforest and stuff like that. So what's really interesting about them is we'll start with their diet first, which
Okay.
is like probably
I
the
guess?
most interesting. Sure, please guess.
It's a ruminant.
Yeah,
So do they eat grass?
no. I mean, close. Well, they're birds, so they're not going to go to the ground that much.
They eat leaves.
Yes.
Okay.
So their primary diet is leaves, legumes, fruits and flowers, but mostly leaves.
Okay.
So what they do is they have they go and just start eating some leaves, and they have a symbiotic bacteria pretty similar to cows, and it'll break down the cellulose and the fibrous materials inside their crop. But there's a trade-off. They have to have a much larger crop. Their crop weighs 17% of their body weight. So they suck at flying. So they will break down that cellulose, that fiber, to get the nutrients in the leaves. And ruminants, like Winnie, our cow, she's pretty stinky, right?
Yes. She's gross.
These birds are also incredibly stinky because they're just breaking down all that leafy green material. So
Wait, can we talk about what a ruminant is quickly?
yeah, we probably should.
Okay, so a ruminant, me with my agriculture degree,
Please.
it's been a long time. 4 stomach chambers.
So, okay, they're not technically a ruminant because
Okay.
that's what defines a ruminant is
Okay.
the 4 stomach chambers.
Yeah.
But they do ruminant-like activity.
Do they have a second digestion?
No, it's just a crop.
Oh.
So it's just they became evolutionarily like this because that's where the food source was when they were competing millions of years ago.
Yeah.
There wasn't something in the canopies that they could compete with, so they had to start eating leaves. And the ones that had the beneficial bacteria that can break down the cellulose to then allow the body to get to the energy dense food were starting to thrive and do better. And
Do they produce methane?
probably, yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, I mean it's not the exact same bacteria, but it's pretty close.
Other examples of ruminants, guys, we got what? Like cows, goats, deer,
Sheep,
and
yeah.
sheep. Yeah, so they eat grass. It goes through all their tummies, and then they have special bacteria that breaks it down, and then it goes back up into their mouth. They chew it again. It's what chewing cud is. And then cows will and they'll all release methane.
Yep.
So if this bird releases methane, that's crazy. There are no other birds that are ruminants.
There are two other bird species like it that they know of.
I'm a liar.
But like we're just finding this out too.
Okay.
So they do that, but the other thing that they're really cool about is they're not great at flying because their crop's so heavy.
Yeah, that's like if my stomach was 17 pounds, 20 pounds.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that would suck.
That would suck so bad.
So they need special adaptations to get around the forest. And they have claws they actually use on the
So
end of their
weird.
wings.
That was
And
so weird.
I don't know. In my research, I couldn't find any other birds that use claws, like
climbing.
actively using claws.
And they look like grappling hooks.
Yeah.
They like claw onto surfaces and like drag themselves up.
The chicks use it the most because obviously they can't fly when they first come out of the shell. But they'll climb around like monkeys almost. They're not very good at it, but they can get around. And what the parents do is they build nests over bodies of water because you have hawks, you have other monkeys and snakes that are predators of these guys. So when they detect a predator, they just drop in the water. They swim. They are good at swimming. They swim over to branches, and then the chicks climb up back into their nest.
I don't know if I like it.
That's so cool.
I don't know if I like that.
It works for them.
Okay.
So there's like 1 to 2 chicks per. So like you're not having enough chicks.
1 to 2?
Yeah. 1
That's
to 2 chicks.
nothing.
Right. But like you're not, if you had more, like 5 or 6, you'd have a bunch dropping out and you would teach reptiles and amphibians to wait underneath the nest to eat the babies. But because they're not dropping out that much, you're not teaching anything in the water to eat it. So like it's pretty safe.
Okay.
So it's a good system. And it's just so cool that they've stayed undeveloped for millions of years. Still, like Stompy, our emu, has a claw.
Yeah.
Unused.
So unnecessary.
But these guys actively do. And even when they're older too, they still use them. Not as much, like they fly, decently well when they get older. But like they still, you see those nice pretty birds climbing trees.
So the babies are also eating leaves.
Oh, so this is pretty cool. So the parents will regurgitate for them, and that's where they get the beneficial bacteria. That's how it gets passed down. So like
that's crazy.
Like when you give a cow antibiotics.
Yeah.
Sometimes you kill all the beneficial bacteria in their gut, and they can't regenerate it because it's gone. So you have to cut a port inside the cow's stomach, and you have to take beneficial bacteria from one cow and put it in the other surgically. And this is how they're doing it without surgery, obviously. So that's how the bacteria gets passed down through generations.
I was really excited about this bird at the beginning, and the more I learn about them, the less I like them. I think I have a lot of respect for them, but they kind of freak me out.
They call them the skunks of the sky because they smell that bad.
Oh, because they smell.
Yeah. They smell like poo, is what people say.
Oh, poo-poo birds.
Yeah.
What are they called?
Hoatzin.
Hoatzin. Hoatzins. Yep. That's crazy. I can't imagine being the person to discover that. I'd be so confused.
Very cool.
Wow.
I would love to study them. Get them in Vegas.
Okay, actually, it's interesting that you talked about the babies being born in the water and then having to swim over.
Yeah.
Because my next one has a similar struggle. Yes, crabby.
Okay.
Audio listeners, he's crabbing his hands, crab dancing. I think this animal is hilarious. I was doing this research by myself.
You were laughing. I had my back turned. I wasn't looking.
Oh, yeah. Connor and I work together. We work back to back every day at our computer setups at work. And I was doing this research and I was laughing.
And you're like, don't look, spoilers. I'm like, okay.
Because I think they're so funny. So okay.
I don't even know what they look like.
This is a coconut crab. You're going to die.
What? That is so weird.
Guys, it's a picture.
1, 2, 3.
Picture
4, 5,
a
6,
giant
7,
hermit crab, because that's what it is.
Okay.
Attached to a trash can, but it is the entire trash can. It's like holding the entire trash can.
3 or 4 feet, right?
It is. They have a 3-foot leg span. That's meter.
Wild.
A meter leg span.
That's a hunkin' boy, too.
It's huge. They're so huge. It's a hermit crab found in the tropical Indo-Pacific oceanic islands. So like Australia, Cambodia, Japan, Indonesia, New Zealand, whatever. It's the largest land-dwelling arthropod. Thank God.
Yeah.
Because arthropods are like spiders, insects, centipedes, etc. But huge. Absolutely huge animal. They can lift objects the weight of a 10-year-old child. They're so strong.
Like 30, 40 pounds, right?
I don't know anything about children. How much, producer, what does a 10-year-old child weigh? And on average, just like...
That's crazy. That's so strong.
Yeah, benching them. Like, lifting them up. I don't even know if I could lift up a 10-year-old child.
Chop a 10-year-old child's arm off with his claws.
Crazy thing to say.
It says a 10-year-old male, 54 to 102 pounds.
Hold on.
That's
I'm
you.
102 pounds. Wait, what? Really? Okay, so they could potentially lift me?
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's messed up. They also, you were just saying they could snap off their little arms.
Yeah.
Or my little arms, I guess, in this
Your little
example.
arms.
They have a pincher force of 3,300 newtons, which is about 3 times our maximum bite force,
Oh.
is the only comparison that I have. So if you bite down as hard as you can, they can do like 3 times that with their pinchers.
I bet they could take off like a wrist
For sure.
or something. Yeah.
Because you could like easily break fingers with our bite force
Yeah,
easily.
you can
Take
bite
a finger
Yeah.
off. So
And they're pretty long. Those are like what, 6-8 inches claws?
probably, I don't know, ouchie.
So-
Super ouchie.
no
Charles Darwin described them as monstrous.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are scared of them that live around them because they've been documented eating birds and kittens. Sorry. That's really sad. I love cats. But they will climb up trees and they will...
Climb up trees?
Yes. They will climb
That's
up trees
scary.
and they will take cats out of the trees and like birds.
If I was walking on an island and saw that in a tree, I would run the other way and get a boat off that island as fast as I could.
Yeah. They're scavengers. So they will eat coconuts. They break up coconuts with their little claws
yeah.
and they'll eat the flesh of coconuts, but
Sure.
then they'll also just like eat kittens and
God.
birds, which I think is crazy. Also, potentially Amelia Earhart.
What?
They also they also potentially ate her.
Okay.
There's a theory
Okay.
that they never we know they never found Amelia Earhart's body, but she landed somewhere in that area where they were native to.
Okay.
It's not like they didn't kill Amelia Earhart,
Right.
but if she perished somewhere, coconut crabs probably ate her.
So they're the vultures of
the
islands.
tropical Indo-Pacific Oceanic Islands.
That's cool.
Yeah, so there's a big theory that they ate Amelia Earhart. But anyway, I think these crabs are absolutely hilarious. The other thing that I think about them that's hilarious is they just the saying of like set yourself up for success is just they don't hear that. They don't they're not about that. You know, they like a good challenge. The females will they'll carry their eggs underneath their stomach and then they'll go to the water. They can't be in the water. They're hermit crabs.
right,
So
okay,
they
sure.
breathe air. They have brachiostegal lungs.
Okay.
You'll hear a lot of us mispronouncing things on this podcast. Apologies. I'm not a biologist, but when Connor mispronounces things, that's crazy because he's a biologist.
Sure. Come at me.
So they breathe air. They
Sure.
can't be in
Okay.
the water. But they lay their eggs in the water. So the females will bring all their little eggs over the water.
And hold their breath?
And then they go on the shore where the waves are like splashing up at them.
Okay.
And she'll stand there and she'll like hold onto the rocks and like violently shake on the
Oh
rocks.
my God. Okay.
To try to get them off as fast as she can because the water's just hitting her in the face and she can't breathe. so they try to get the eggs into the water really fast. So they lay their eggs in the water and then the larvae disperse and they they float on coconuts. They like grab onto coconuts or debris or
Right.
driftwood or whatever.
And wait to be pushed onto the land?
So for a month, they're like in the water as like a larva stage, and then they sink down
Okay.
into the ocean. They have to find a shell as babies to protect themselves, like a little hermit crab.
That's crazy.
But then within a month, they can't breathe.
Oh my.
Within a month, they can't swim anymore.
So they start running out of oxygen.
And they will drown
Oh.
in the water. So they gotta run. They gotta run up to the shore so they can breathe air. And they also drop their shells because the adults just,
They don't need it.
yeah, they just have really hard shells.
Imagine getting that as a pet. Like you get a little one and you don't know.
And then all of a sudden it's got a 3-foot leg span and it's eating your cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Isn't that sad? Can you imagine like being a little happy hermit crab chilling in the ocean, like walking around, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I can't breathe. And then you're
I feel
like,
like
wait,
it's
I'm drowning.
It's got to be like a gradual
And then
thing,
you have
though.
to run to the shore before you drown.
Maybe it's not a gradual thing because like they need to have,
I don't know.
like I'm sure they can have working, air oxygen and water oxygen at the same time, right?
Yeah.
And then it slowly starts to
It's-
turn one off.
I'm butchering that. The lung type is the developmental stage between gills and lungs.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I just think it's hilarious. I think these animals are so funny. I would love to see one in person.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to see them climbing trees, and there's
Eating-
some
eating a
gnarly
kitten.
footage of them eating birds. It's like kind of. I didn't put it in here because it's kind of rough.
Right.
They like will just grab them and break their wings.
How
and
big
then
are so if
eat
these
them.
guys get huge? How big are their eggs? Like a baseball, a golf
No,
ball?
they're very small.
Very
They
small.
have a ton of eggs just clinging to their stomach.
Okay.
Yeah, like a ton. Like, kind of like a bug would.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, they're listed as vulnerable right now because they're overharvested as a food source, and they have a very
Oh.
slow population rate, growth rate. So they live
Right.
to be 60 years old, which is crazy.
That's all.
6D,
That's crazy.
but they're not sexually mature until they're 5 years old. So
Okay.
if people are killing them before
Right.
then, yeah, and
That's not too bad. It's a little slow, but
it's a little slow.
that's cool.
Yeah, so run, little coconut crabs, before you drown.
Imagine those
Sorry
being
your mom put you there, though.
imagine those being immortal and
Imagine your
Them-
mom throwing you into the ocean as a newborn baby and then having to swim to the surface before you drown.
tough life.
Yeah, that's tough.
I'm glad we don't do that.
That's the coconut crab.
Well, to stay in the theme of the ocean, I'm going to talk about Dumbo octopus.
Oh, so cute.
So they get their name because their little ears look like Dumbo. I haven't
so
seen Dumbo in so
cute.
long. So you're like, did he start out with like small ears and then get big ears in the end?
I've
I don't
never
remember.
seen the movie.
Oh, you don't really watch movies.
Yeah.
So I'll just have to take the research.
Audio listeners, he's like a little stress ball fidget toy with
Yeah.
little flappy ear flaps. And I
And-
love him.
Very cute. So this image looks deceiving. It looks really small, but actually the largest one on record is about a Maya. So
What?
Yes.
I thought they were the size of our beautifully branded mugs
no.
that you can buy. Sorry.
No, they're so 5'10", so a little bit over you, right? You're what, 5'4", 5'2"?
You think I'm 5'4"?
I don't know. I'm not good with measuring heights.
I'm 5 feet tall.
Oh, right at 5 feet. Okay. So this is bigger than you.
What?
Yes. The largest recorded one is bigger than you. So there's not much data on them because they live crazy deep in the ocean. They live 2.5 miles below the ocean surface. So 13,100 feet, 400 meters, 4,000 meters. It's the deepest known living octopus.
Okay, I was going to say, not that I have much reference for ocean depth, but that is like really far
It's
down
really
there.
far down there.
The pressure down there must be insane.
It is, I don't even know how to equate it, but 5,850 pounds per square inch.
Like cars on cars on cars on top of you.
Yeah. Like you have to be
You're dead.
so specialized
You're
for that
okay.
to live down there.
Okay.
And so it can be about 5 foot 10 inches and weigh 13 pounds or 5.9 kilograms. Also, I need to say 1.8
5
meters.
foot 10 inches and 13 pounds.
Yes. Jelly. Beep, beep, beep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 5 foot 10 is 1.8 meters. Just so we do our conversions. So it's so deep. It's only in the Pacific Ocean, and it gets really cold down there too. Guess how cold it is at 2.5 miles down.
I don't know. I have no reference. I have no idea.
39 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 degrees Celsius.
Okay, that's not as cold as I thought.
Well, like you can't have it freezing. Can't be 32.
Right.
It's just slightly.
makes
It's
sense.
slightly above 32.
Okay.
Which so like what's warming is like the Earth's core and the mantle
Sure.
and stuff like that. But like it's basically barely above freezing.
Okay.
So there's zero light down there, and they're really slow movers. They use those little ears
Yeah.
to move. That's the only way they
Stop.
move.
No way. They can't use their little feet.
I mean, a little bit, but it's just mostly like
That's so dumb.
it's like little
They have
helicopters.
they got nowhere to be?
they're just slow moving.
What do they
And-
do? They filter feed?
They feed on isopods, bristleworms, and other like just whatever's around there. So everything's very scarce down there. So they're not feeding on fish. They're feeding on other slow moving animals.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's crazy is that they don't really run in their species all that often. And so you have to have special adaptations in case you do run into your species, you can do things with it. So what would you think if you were a Dumbo octopus just through the ocean, 2.5 miles down at 39 degrees Fahrenheit? What would your adaptations that you would like to have to continue your species.
Detachable genitalia.
That's no, it's not that,
That can
but no.
chase the female
Sure, that'd be cool, but
into the depths of the ocean.
okay.
Not
What
wrong.
else?
Wrong answer.
It's wrong. It's wrong. Yeah.
Really, 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 really good sense of smell.
That'd be nice, but no. I'll give you one more.
Really, really, really long genitalia. So I don't have to get all the way over there if I know that she's there.
So we're talking miles apart. Like they might
Okay.
not see they might not
mind.
see
Never
another
mind.
Dumbo octopus for years. Years. So what they do is the females, they will have eggs in different stages of development that they keep on hand. And then when they come across a male, they'll grab as much sperm as they can, and then they'll store it. They can store sperm for a very long period of time. And then they move the sperm into the egg at different development stages to get it to where it needs to go to then reproduce its species.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It's so much work.
And like probably not worth. I guess actually it's definitely worth.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
if you
the whole point
if
of-
you can store sperm for 10
life.
years, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I was thinking from the male perspective, I guess.
Hmm.
From a female perspective, okay. I would also want to be able to kidnap the male.
I mean, in a way, kind of is.
I would want to keep him with me at all times at my disposal
Right.
for reproduction.
I mean, so like if you keep the sperm for 10 years, you
I
don't
guess
have to
same
carry
vibe. Yeah.
you carry less weight with you at that point, so
Yeah.
you don't have to expend as much energy. But it's just really bizarre. So they're crazy cute. And there's not much data on them because they were only discovered in the past few years. I guess the last thing they do with their eggs is you would think they would want to like take care of and protect their eggs.
Yeah.
Once they did that, no, they just put it on a rock and leave.
Do they have brains? I'm serious. They do. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I didn't dive into like the whole octopus thing.
Oh, dude, this is me. Welcome to the quiz section of our podcast where Connor and I do a pop quiz. I'm currently at -1 points because I answered a question wrong once in our Patreon episode. So I'm gonna redeem myself right now.
And when you get to -10, we have to dump a bucket of cold ice water on you, right?
Nobody said that.
Oh, that's the whole reason I'm doing the podcast.
Connor said that. I didn't agree.
All right.
Okay, the question is, how many brains do the giant Pacific octopus have?
I didn't mean to buzz in.
3.
I just asked if they have a brain at all.
That is wrong.
Oh, -1. Wait,
What?
can I guess? Can I redemption?
Yes.
Sure.
It's a trick question. They have 1 brain.
That is also wrong.
No! Wait, do I get -2 then?
No.
Okay, saved.
The giant Pacific octopus have 9 brains.
9?
And they also have 3 hearts.
What are they doing with all that brain?
They... 2 of the 3 hearts pump blood to the gills, and they have 1 brain for the central nervous system, and each leg has a brain for
Oh my
movement.
god.
Did
That's
you know
so
that
cool.
one of their arms is their genitalia, and the female octopus can collect arms?
I didn't know she could collect arms.
She can collect them. She can keep them in her pocket, just like the Dumbo octopus.
Okay.
But she keeps the whole arm in there,
That's so cool.
in her nostril,
In her nostril?
to save for later.
Jeez, that's a weird pocket.
Yeah.
That's so
But
cool.
that's why I said detachable arm. I think it's really
Right.
handy. Also, long arm, the reach around method for octopuses.
Is it?
I think it is octopuses. I don't think it's octopi. I don't know for sure. I'm not a biologist, Connor.
I'm more of a bird biologist, so producer looking it up. Both
They're both
octopuses.
acceptable. All right.
Octopi. Yeah.
Well, okay. Dumbo octopus, very cute, very inefficient mover,
Boop, 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 boop.
very efficient reproducer. Immortal jellyfish, pretty sick.
Love that.
The conservation status for immortal jellyfish is not assessed. I think they're very hard to assess
Yeah.
because they're pinky nail sized and they're all over the ocean.
Right.
So it's data deficient. What is the Dumbo octopus?
Also, they don't have much data on it.
Right, because they were like just discovered.
Yeah,
Huh?
they're super deep.
Damn.
Yeah, there's not a lot of data. So, happens. We'll get more.
Happens. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed our first episode of World's Wildest. I hope you learned something. I hope you had a good time. And that's all I got. Connor, you got anything? We need a send-off. We need like a special send-off.
We need our own custom handshake.
Well, audio listeners aren't going to see our handshake.
Well, we have to put audio into it, just like the Alveus handshake. There's a caca.
Oh.
We'll table that for later.
We'll table it. We'll have a handshake on our next episode. Make sure to return for it so you can see our handshake and learn more.
Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for hanging out. Bye, guys.